So glad you were tuning in to Good News on Entertainment tonight. I'm Carley Boyette. A little later in the show, we're going to highlight the new live production of C.S. Lewis's Prince Caspian that is now showing at the Museum of the Bible. It's incredible. But first tonight, it's all about a brand new series airing on the Great American Family Network and streaming on Great American Pure Flix. It's called County Rescue. Believe it or not, it is the first ever series to come to the network. Before we talk with two of the actors, let's take a look at the show.
Okay, we work 24-hour shifts around the clock.
Got to be ready for anything. Welcome to County Rescue.
Hey, I'm Danny.
I'm Tim. Is he your first day too?
100%.
They're gonna be nice to us, right?
If you're 5 minutes early, you're late. Get in my office now.
Gotta love shaving cream balloons.
Seems like we have some things in common. Isn't it incredible what these people can do?
Oh, yeah.
I'm impressed.
Be strong, keep your cool. and
Serve well. Will do, Chief.
County Rescue, please respond code 3.
BP is 180 or 100.
Tim, get the oxygen.
You sure you're cut out for this? I'm not going to quit.
Look, you're safe. Your mother's right here.
Thank you so much.
No romance in HQ.
Oh, come on!
Awesome.
Ready to go save some lives?
Yes.
Finally, by the way, a series for Great American Family.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So when I started watching it, and I started watching the sneak peeks, and I'll be honest, I'm like, okay, we'll see, because I was like, I grew up watching Grey's Anatomy, and like you have these type of shows that are so popular, and then you go, okay, if we add a little faith-based element to it, like how, I was so surprised with how good it is. And I mean that in the kindest way. I just was so taken back. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're really thankful for the opportunity to be a part of a show that not only is it going to entertain audiences and it's going to inspire, but it creates really cool conversations for the family. Because of the variety of characters within the ensemble, you're going to get those, hard to talk about moments that can be done well within the confines of the family. But you're also going to get some things that you can internalize on a personal level and wrestle with after the show is over. So I think that's one of the really cool elements for us as a cast to be a part of a show that's going to bring elements of faith, elements of family, elements of tragedy, and then all around good fun at the same time, to be able for the whole family to be able to enjoy.
And that's what this series, it really there's humor in it. I noticed right off the bat some of the calls that you guys, run, some of the other cast members that they go on. They're not all these happy endings that you might assume a faith-based show would keep it lighthearted. I like when we have these storylines that have some grit to them.
County Rescue does such a beautiful job of showing the demands of this job that, being an EMT, a frontline worker, it's like you get hit with a lot of stuff. And there's these beautiful moments that you see where, there's miracles and things happen that shouldn't happen. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. And, you save someone you never thought you would. But then at the same time, there's a lot of weight and a lot of heaviness to this job, being the first one to walk into a situation that's really someone's worst day, right? That they're having to call you. And so I think it does a really good job of showing the reality of what an EMT does, both the positive and the negative, right? It's not just this beautifully cheery show that's not exactly real life, and I love the grit that's in it because I think it makes the show much more relatable to viewers to be able to see both sides of that and see the characters kind of wrestle with both sides of that.
And again, relatable for all ages, where you can, even have the young ones, which I really appreciate. There's a scene in particular that really struck me back. There's a woman having labor, going into labor on the side of the road, basically. And again, that's a scene my 4-year-old came in and like he was so like enthralled of like what's happening. He could tell that this woman was in distress. And then when she prayed for her right on the back, it was just it was a reminder for me that we need to do that. To pray when we see someone in need right there.
Right.
And then what a great conversation that I can then have with the kids about the importance of doing that. So that scene in particular, I know y'all weren't in that particular one, I don't think, but it was pretty powerful.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the different scenes that whether Kristin and I were in them or not is beside the point, because one of the cool things that we got to experience as a cast was talking. We were all in this cast holding area for most of our shoot days, in the EMS headquarters that we were stationed in, and one of the cool things was just the conversations that would happen in the midst of our off time, so to speak, where we're doing our best to bring the show to life and make these characters as authentic as possible, and then you get to know people's lives, you get to know their likes, their dislikes, and then getting rub shoulders with the real life EMTs that we had on set with us, and here's some of the things that they encounter on a day-to-day basis. And what you realize is that these are people who, after they're done with that 24-hour shift, they go home to a family or to friends or to whoever, and their life goes on. And sometimes at least for me, before doing the show, you only sample the first responders in those moments of emergency. But what happens when they go home? How do they process and deal with everything that they see at work, and both the positive and the negative? And that, I think that was one of the elements that I love that people will experience over the course of the first season, is the family and community aspect of this ensemble of EMT first responders.
My brother-in-law is a firefighter, so I related very well in being so close with him, and again, just the whole dynamic of the family life at home. And so anyways, it's all just great conversations. I'll end with this, because I think what this show also does is it highlights, as everyone's trying to figure out, especially the two main characters, about God's will for their life. And Brett, I've had a chance to talk with you. Again, we don't have to be called pastors, or we don't have to be called to have a ministry inside a church necessarily to do what God has called us to do. And this series is a great example of that. So I just wanted you both to kind of speak on that, and kind of how you see that personally, because it's pretty cool to see what God is doing, off camera, on camera, and where that is going to continue to lead.
Yeah, I can touch on that briefly, and I know Kristin can share more, because her character has a lot to do with that storyline as it pertains to her character Ashley being a mentor to Danny in the show. But I can just say that is the number one question that I think so many people, whether they realize it or not, are wrestling with. Why am I on this earth? What am I supposed to do with this life that I've been given? And that can be a really daunting question to try to navigate, and cripple people, to be honest with you, unless we realize that we were created by a God who loves us, and that he does have a plan for our lives. And part of the wild journey of this life is discovering what that is. And that's done through finding out who he is. It's done through family and community. But my hope and my encouragement for the people who watch County Rescue is that they would go on that wild journey and try to discover the plans that God has for them, because maybe they don't know what that is yet.
And that's okay. It's a journey, right? And
Right.
it could even change. You may think you may be right where you're at, and that may be where you're supposed to be in that season.
So I think one of the neat things about the show is the fact that we see Danny, who happens to be a believer, and she has this calling on her life, but things aren't working out the way that she wants them to. And so we see, as a viewer, the struggle of someone who does believe in God, and it feels like she has a very specific calling on her life that he has sent her, but yet things aren't going the way that she wants them to, and the way that they're expected. And so she starts to question and starts to struggle with her faith. And I think that's sort of a preconceived notion of where as Christians, we're not allowed to question, we're not allowed to struggle and ask God why. And but you look at Psalms, and you look at David, and we're allowed to do that. Like, he calls us to struggle, and he calls us to question his motives, but then at the same time to also know that he is faithful and to trust in his path for our lives. And so my hope for the show is that viewers, Christian or not, are able to see Danny's journey and relate to that in some way. And at the end of the day, maybe ask themselves, is there a path for my life? Like, is there a greater calling for my life that I'm not pursuing that I potentially could be? And what does that look like for me?
Okay, one more fun fact about this series. Episode 3 has a really fun surprise guest, musician Colton Dixon. It's a really fun episode where the county rescue department has to come to his aid. And I got a chance to talk with Colton about his acting debut.
Anytime I get a chance to talk with Colton Dixon, I'm like, yes, I need to catch up with him. Such a fan. And I was so excited to see you doing something a little different. Have you acted before?
Man, not in this capacity. I did some theater in high school, but that's my extent of my acting career. So I'll let
This
you
is
guys
the
be the
best
judge
acting
if I
job,
should
though,
continue.
because you got to play yourself. So I always say, because I'm always trying to get into some of these movies and TV shows that I promote a lot. Like, if you ever need a TV host, I can do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know how to do the singer-songwriter thing, fairly well. So if you need that, I'm in. And I was lucky that that's what they needed. So
Hey, you had some acting though too. Tell me, rewind a little bit though. How did you get paired up with this wonderful show, and how did this opportunity get presented to you?
yeah, it was something that just kind of came across our table, and I remember my management asking me almost like that, like hesitated, like, "Have you ever considered acting?" Like, not really, but let's see where this goes. Let's look at the script and what is it, and it was just so much fun. I love what they're doing with the show, and became fast friends with a lot of the other actors and actresses, and just really sweet people. And yeah, it was kind of wild. My band got involved as well, and we're all kind of like, what are we doing? It was a new experience for all of us, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. You know what I love about this series, and there's some other ones that are coming out in the same vein too. What I love that we're showing is, even your band gets in on this too, is just praying. Like, it's just crazy to me when you watch these scenes on TV or in a movie, and it's just common to just say, "Hey, let's just stop and pray real quick." It
Yeah,
just is so cool.
I completely agree. And I don't know, to someone like you and me, it doesn't seem as like that big of a thing because it's kind of second nature. It's just what we do. But I remember seeing the Duck Dynasty clan, like every
To
episode.
be honest, that was my first thing. Like, that's the only other family I can really remember praying like
That
that.
was the coolest thing to me, and of course they weren't even necessarily professing to be a Christian show. So it was just really cool that they were intentional about that. So we are intentional about that at our shows. So I'm like, well, if they want us to be us, this is what we're gonna do. So we prayed before the show, and wound up getting choked up in the middle of that
Yeah.
as well. I have to check out the episode.
That's good. I like what you did there. We won't give away anything.
Yeah.
How are you doing these days? I know you're still on the road a lot as well. Give us kind of the latest news with you, as you we're kind of still in the beginning of the year, but what are you looking
Yeah.
forward to as we kind of continue on here in 2024?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a big year for us. We're really excited. Working on new music, and we've got some songs that we're really excited about. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But we're actually out on the road with my really good friend Jordan Felice right now. We did a tour last fall and just had the best time. So we decided to keep the train moving, and so we started last weekend actually. So we'll continue through April, the end of April. So
Yeah.
that'll be a lot of fun with Jordan, and then more stuff is on the horizon after that. So like I said, keep your eyes and your ears peeled. We're really, really excited.
Well, did this give you a little bit of the acting bug? Did you go, you know what? If more opportunities get passed my way, I might consider them. What say you?
You know, I think I would entertain it, but however, I think I might need to let y'all be the judge on whether I should continue or not.
Hey, I watched it and I'm all in. I say yes.
Okay, you're bought in. All
Yep,
right.
I bought in. You
It's
did well.
believable. Well, praise God for that. Yeah, it maybe I need to hit
Yeah.
up Joel Smallbone and be like, yo, you got any small roles that needs attention? I'm your guy.
Yep, I absolutely am all on board with that. And well, hey, what is as before we kind of close up here, what is God kind of teaching you in this season of life as you are, doing some new things here and continuing on with music? What's your takeaway that you're kind of learning at the moment?
Yeah, for me, to be fully transparent with you, last year was busiest year of my career and very thankful for that. But also, I'm married. I've got two 3-year-old little girls, twins, at home, and man, just learning that when I say yes to an opportunity, it's harsh, but I'm ultimately saying no to other things. And
Hmm.
so that family road life balance has been something that I am we're still just trying to figure out the best way to do what I do and to do what I'm called to do. We still believe in that calling, but I know that God gives grace to those who he calls, and we know that's true in our lives, but still it can take a toll. We're thankful for FaceTime and for technology, but it's still not the same. So learning learning to really pray about the opportunities that come and do that with my wife, and that's been something that God is kind of working on me personally on this year. So yeah,
It's that season of life. I'm going through it as well. And it's a
yeah,
daily check in that we need to do in with God every day to say, Lord, where do you
absolutely,
want me today? What do I need, to be saying yes to, no to?
yeah,
So I totally understand. And again, no one's got it figured out. We're all
sure,
trying to
yeah.
do the best we can with what we're given. And but I love checking in with you. I know that your heart is that as well. So it's so easy and fun to root you on and to just wish the best for your career. So thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much for
much.
spending some time with me again today. I can't wait for people to see this episode because
Me
it's
neither.
really
Like so
good. I am so
excited.
pleasantly surprised by this show. It's got it all. It's got humor. By the way, have you seen the episode? By the way, have you seen the
I've
full?
I've not seen the full episode. I've only
Because
seen like the clips. They sent it over to us for
okay.
approval, and we were laughing the whole time
Well,
because
that's
we
what
were
because
acting for the first time. But
the boss in this show gives you a funny nickname, and I was curious if it sticks with you.
I haven't heard it yet. Oh, I can't wait.
It's really funny. He messes up your name, and I just have a feeling it may be your new nickname as your buddies and your friends here
It
in the
might stick.
school.
I'm gonna have to go check that out.
Oh, well, again, so good to talk with you again. I look forward to possibly doing again too when you have new stuff coming out.
Yes, so great to see you as well. Thanks for making time.
All right, so again, the series airs Monday nights on Great American Family, or you can stream it on Great American Pure Flix. All right, now to that new live theater show at the Museum of the Bible. Prince Caspian is one of the installments of the Chronicles of Narnia series and will be presented at Museum of the Bible's World Stage Theater now until April 27th for a total of 56 world-class performances. Take a look.
The puppeteering was amazing, the acting.
It just blew my mind.
I love it. The production, the set design, all of it's amazing.
The speed and the pace at which they're able to move the different pieces, I think that's just really cool.
Special effects are terrific.
The cast is there doing an amazing job.
Gotta see this show, it was wonderful.
How could a story with trees that fight and a lion that speak ever be told on stage? Now I know.
Congratulations on this production. It looks amazing.
Thank you. We are so excited. We were able to make a connection with Museum of the Bible last year. We're from Taylor, South Carolina, and they found out about what we were doing, invited us to come up to their beautiful World Stage Theater on their 5th floor of the museum. And we've been performing here last year, and now very excited to bring Prince Caspian to the stage.
Yeah, at the time of our interview that we're talking here, you guys are just getting ready to launch this. And I'm just so excited. Pull the curtain back for us, though, because I want to make sure we understand there is a lot of moving parts and kind of how production companies work and how the stories come to be. So explain kind of both of your roles in this. And again, this is such a big deal. The Museum of the Bible, number one, has such a beautiful theater where they can host shows like this, which we were talking about, are like Broadway level quality.
Yes.
So yeah, kind of pull the curtain back and explain what both of you do.
Sure. So I have the privilege of being the president for our overall ministry. It's called the Academy of Arts Ministry. So Nicole's dad founded that back in 1971. So we've been able, our ministry's been going for 53 years. We're definitely a multifaceted ministry. I'll cover that real quickly, then I'll let Nicole talk more about the play. So we're a multifaceted ministry, began as a traveling ministry to churches, doing productions for churches, then grew to doing productions with homeschool and school groups, week-long drama seminars, where the young people do the play. Our group just comes in and teaches them how to do everything, sets, props, costumes, makeup, lights, give them the full experience, but then they do it. It's very evangelistic, very discipleship-oriented. We're not in drama for drama's sake. That's not the point. The point is to minister and bless people. And so content is crucial. Nicole's dad would always say ministry implies content. And so the content of what we do is very important to us. So we have to generate a lot of our own materials a lot of times because there's not a lot out there that's quality but also a great message. So ministry to churches, ministry to schools and homeschool groups, then started the Logos Theater back in 2006. In Taylor, South Carolina, little old Taylor's. We're right next to Greenville. Most people know Greenville. We're there in Taylor, South Carolina. That's home base for us. So we have a theater there where we do full-scale Broadway level productions there. And then also have a college program for young people and a film program. So we don't have a lot to do. We kind of get bored a lot. But anyway, no. So very much a multifaceted ministry, many things to be involved in there for sure. But I'll kick it over to Nicole now about anything for the production and what you want to share.
Sure. Well, I'm the artistic director for the Academy of Arts. So like you said, my parents founded it. I grew up in it. And now it's just a privilege for Noah and I to be carrying the ministry on. My father went home to be with the Lord 2 years ago, and a really neat thing is we picked him to be the voice of Aslan in our shows, not knowing that he was sick and that we would lose him. And the Lord woke me up one morning and said, get him in the studio, record him for all the rest of the Aslan lines for all 7 books. So we did. We captured his voice, and now he's performing along with us. So it's amazing. He even had the vision 5 years ago telling us that we would be discovered by Museum of the Bible. Steve Green would come to our would bring us to the museum, and we would partner together. And I thought, how is that ever going to happen? We're right in Taylor, South Carolina. But 4 months after my dad passed, all of this came to fruition. And now here we are for our 3rd run at Museum of the Bible. And we've created such an amazing partnership with them. They have such a vision for bringing Broadway quality productions that are actually written, directed, and produced by Christians and showcasing them on their stage to the world. So you know, what amazing thing how God has done this story. And just a quick thing, I said I'd never direct the Narnia books, and
never say never, right?
Now here we are. I have written the world premiere of Prince Caspian and produced it, and produced it back in 2017, and now taking it for the very first maiden tour up here to DC at Museum is just kind of surreal. So the Lord has a sense of humor. When you say never, He's just kind of smiling and going, okay, just wait and see what I've got in store. So it's been an incredible journey, a growing thing for our ministry. And now things are just really exploding to where, as we were even talking a little bit before this, we've toured now our show On the Horse and His Boy. We've toured that now for over a year. And so I think as Christians wake up and see that more and more things are coming out that are so quality and so much excellence that are in the Christian realm, they're getting excited, getting behind this. A great movement is being created, and we're actually going to be able to see Christians, I think, touring Broadway scale shows outside of the system all across the country. So I hope the Narnia books are part of that.
Yeah.
Talk
Amen.
about, before we run out of time, there is something so special about this series and about this story that is very, very timeless. It's just a classic that, again, you have new generations falling in love with it. Talk about kind of this experience and why people should come and see this live in the theater.
Well, Lewis, just had such an amazing ability to connect with people through storytelling and connect and weave in truths all through this that are so human that they're timeless. And so the messaging that he's bringing through this of faith and following, keeping your eyes on Aslan alone and following, even when you can't see, you can't hear, all these doubts are surrounding you, you're able to persevere because you know who's leading you. And Aslan is portrayed so beautifully in this book. And I just think the human nature and his understanding of human nature comes through in Prince Caspian. Of course, he has such an incredible imagination. So there's the idea of this amazing world he's created of Narnia, where we're going to get to know, talking animals and trees that come to life and fight in the battle, and river gods that explode the bridges, and he has all these fancy things.
Fantasy.
Thank you. It's fantasy. Sorry. He has all these things of fantasy that are in the book that really help people want to read it. But then the truths are so solid and right there with us, foundational, that, the book lasts and it's a timeless thing. So I love bringing it to life. It's a major challenge because, like we said, we have to disappear people. We have to explode bridges. We've got to bring trees to life and have them fight in the battle. We have a giant, gorgeous lion and horses that are ridden in the show. And, just so many things that create need for artistry and also mechanical engineering with our puppetry department. So it's a journey. It is a ride. You're not going to believe it until you see it, I guess.
Talk about age range. I'm a mom. I have 3 elementary age kiddos. I mean, what are you finding as far as age, wise, and who can really kind of absorb all of this and really appreciate it?
Well, that's the brilliance. That's the genius of Lewis. I kind of always give the old Christmas song, kids 1 to 92. I mean, probably 5 years old and up. We've had 5-year-olds sit there spellbound for 2.5, 3 hours through it, and then grandparents absolutely loving it. So you're probably 5 years old and up would absolutely love it.
And people need to know we're really bringing the book to life. So it's not like where you're just going to have an hour-and-a-half show. It is a full, robust Broadway level timed show. So it is, but the kids, I've even seen 3 to 5-year-olds just sitting, like you said, and not moving a muscle and being totally in it. And it's a tough book. There's battles. There's so many different things in it, but it really never lets you go. It grabs you from the beginning and does not let you go.
Well, on behalf of the Christian community, just thank you for what you're doing and what you're doing in arts and entertainment and using that as ministry. I'm excited to see where this continues to go, what God continues to do with it. And it's going to be a fun ride.
Oh, it looks so good. For ticket info, just go to museumofthebible.org. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I'm Carley Boyette, and I look forward to seeing you next week right here on your Christian television network.